Back in the 2000s, there was the animated series Justice League, which I know there's a lot of people out there that love that show. And I only watched a few episodes of it because I was into Teen Titans, not so much on Justice League. And then I later learned, years later, that Justice League was part of the DC animated universe, which has the same continuity as Batman the Animated Series. I feel more compelled to watch the animated series of Justice League and its follow-up, Justice League Unlimited, after having seen the live-action Justice League film that came out last year in 2017. Justice League is the 5th film in the DC Extended Universe, which I like to nickname it the DC Cinematic Universe because Extended Universe doesn't really make any sense with this franchise because it's not tied into some other source material. Cinematic Universe would be a proper name for this franchise. Why DC thought Extended Universe would be a nice name, I don't know. Zack Snyder, who previously directed Man of Steel and Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, returns to the DC Extended Universe to direct Justice League. Although Joss Whedon was involved with the post-production of the film after Zack Snyder's daughter committed suicide, and I do feel sorry for Zack Snyder regarding that topic at the time it happened. Out of all the films in the DC Extended Universe, Wonder Woman is the only one I could classify as a good film in the DC Extended Universe, because the films that came before it were disappointing. I did not like Man of Steel, I did not like Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, and I did not like Suicide Squad that much, even though I thought it was okay. And Wonder Woman was such a relief. Now we go to Justice League. And they're doing the same shit as before. When I found out that Justice League was being placed before Aquaman and Cyborg had their own solo films, my immediate thought was this: placing Justice League at this point before Cyborg and Aquaman had their own films is too early, which makes me hate the cameo teases even more in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. After those teases, they should have had the Aquaman and Cyborg films before Justice League and after Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. I am so glad I did not see Justice League in theaters because after seeing the trailer, I thought it looks like shit. What makes me want to go see this in theaters? Especially with Zack Snyder directing Justice League and how much I was pissed with the previous 2 films he directed in this franchise. And what do you know? Justice League was shit after all! The cinematography was a fucking mess. I hated every use of slow motion in the film. I don't mind slow motion, but the way it is used in Justice League looks fucking terrible. It also makes some of the acting look awkward as hell. I also was not impressed with the Flash's running moments because they look goofy as hell too. But where this film overkilled in was the amount of CG that was used in it. There is a lot of CG shit in Justice League. There is even obvious green screen moments in Justice League. This film is visually laughable. I can't even say Danny Elfman's score is a highlight in Justice League because I thought it was bland. And I like Danny Elfman. There is even a song in the opening credits that feels so out of place given what we have seen in the previous films. Most of the acting in Justice League is fine, and I enjoyed Gal Gadot the most as Wonder Woman. As for the performance I really didn't care for, Amy Adams as Lois Lane. She's boring! I know I'm going to be on the minority for saying this, but I thought Ezra Miller's performance was underwhelming, and I'll explain why in the next topic. Although I will say it was nice to see Jeremy Irons again as Alfred Pennyworth. It was nice seeing Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman in the same film for Justice League. Now, as for characters that get more prominent screen time than before, it was great seeing Aquaman played by Jason Momoa, who looks like a badass in Justice League. And Cyborg was nice to see too throughout the majority of the screen time he has. As for the Flash, I thought he was annoying. Other than the excessive use of CG, another issue I have with Justice League is Steppenwolf. He is an addition to one of the big issues with the DC Extended Universe. Poor characterized villains. As much as I hate to admit it, Zod by default is the best villain that this franchise has to offer. Because Zack Snyder got Lex Luthor wrong, Enchantress was a joke, and Ares was a missed opportunity. And Steppenwolf is forgettable. The plot of Justice League is a giant clusterfuck, and it's also very predictable in the third act. And the pacing is also a mess, not to mention there was studio interference. Warner Brothers was like, nope, you have to follow the certain runtime that we want out of this film. So yeah, there's even some studio interference bullshit with Justice League. And there's even rumors that Zack Snyder is going to make his own cut of Justice League. Gee, I'd like to see how that turns out! Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice used to be my least favorite film in the DC Extended Universe. As I like to call it, the DC Cinematic Universe. After seeing Justice League, there is a new champion of shit in the DC Cinematic Universe, and that's Justice League. Now I want to go watch the Justice League animated series and forget this shit was even made. But too bad this film is going to connect to future films in this franchise. God, this franchise needs a reboot. I'm going to be shooting for a 2.5 out of 10 on Justice League. Before I review the Justice League animated series, I'm going to watch the other show that came before it. So, I might as well start reviewing the DC animated universe, starting with Batman the Animated Series.